In traditional economic analysis, we've always assumed that it is the owner of a firm that decides the output and the operations of a firm. Now, notice how I've always used the example, imagine you are the owner of Foxconn. But the assumption here is that the owner of Foxconn makes the decisions. But do they get to make all the decisions? Well, many large companies nowadays are public limited companies. The shareholders are the owners, and they want profit so as to increase their dividends and the value of their shares. The shareholders elect directors. Directors in turn employ professional managers, CEOs, for example, who are given considerable discretion in making decisions. There is therefore a separation between the ownership and the control of a firm. Now, this causes many interesting things to happen, some of which we will explore in the next lesson. But first, let's look through how businesses are organized to understand how this separation between owners and managers happen. Small firms, the small ones, they are often governed by their owners. Think about your food store uncle. He's the boss, he cooks, he's the finance guy, he's the cashier, it's everything. Now, in larger firms, however, things become a bit more complicated. Medium-sized firms are often broken into separate departments. Your school probably operates via this model. There are departments like marketing, finance, production, and so on. In your school, there are the teachers, there are the finance guys, there are the admin people, admissions, so on. The managers of each department are normally directly responsible to a chief executive, or in this case, a principal. Though in some schools in Bishan, there might not be much of a difference there. The chief executive coordinates all their activities and relaying the firm's overall strategy and being responsible for interdepartmental communication. We call this a U form, or the unitary form. So when a firm expands beyond a certain size, however, a U form structure is unlikely to become used because it becomes too inefficient. This inefficiency occurs because there is difficulties in communication in such a large, bloated department, and it's difficult to coordinate and it's difficult to control. And it becomes difficult to manage the entire organizational structure from the center. So then comes the M form of organization. To overcome these organizational problems, the firm adopts a multi-divisional, or M, form of management. So this suits larger firms. The firms, it is divided into a number of divisions. Think of Apple Southeast Asia, Apple North America, and so on. Now, each division is responsible for a particular product, and each division has its own divisional managers. So they run the day-to-day running, and even certain long-term decisions of each division will be the responsibility of a divisional manager. So now you can see that in most firms, the owner of the firm isn't actually the guy running things. But let's complicate things a little bit more. Now, as businesses expand all the way out, on a global scale, much more complex forms of organizations appears. There is the H form, or that of a holding company. A holding company or a parent company is one that owns a controlling interest, more than 50% equity stake in other subsidiary companies. And these subsidiaries, in turn, may also have controlling interest in other companies. And it's a complex web of ownership. So while the parent company on top has ultimate control, it appoints the directors and so on over its various subsidiaries, it is unlikely that the parent company controls the tactical and strategic decisions in the company. It's mostly left to the individual companies in each of the organizations. So many multinationals are organized along the lines of international holding company, where overseas subsidiaries pursue their own independent strategy. So for example, Sinopec is the largest oil and gas producer in China. It's an extensive web of companies all over the world. Well, it does have a Singapore division, and it's 3 or 4 companies in Singapore as well. They are subsidiary companies of Sinopec.